Advise every citizen that all the producers, be they as big as Eskom or as small as my granny, to feed into that national grid.
Last month, electricity tariffs increased by 8%. Medupi is scheduled to come online in December. Meanwhile, the hugely expensive open-cycle gas turbines are cranking away. Cabinet will announce government's bailout plan for Eskom this month. With so much at stake, can the new CEO usher in a new era?
Eskom is now the player, the judge, the producer, the distributor. Absolutely no role should it have in the national grid and the distribution of energy. We have 10 years of tough energy challenge ahead of us. The game has changed. We need to wake up to it.
And we hope to be able to interview investigating since 2010 investors reaping millions and miners abandoned and starving. Now, a High Court ruling demands that it's payback time for the former managers of Aurora.
3 years ago, Aurora Empowerment Systems closed the gates of their gold mines for good, ending one of the most devastating sagas in South Africa's mining history. Thousands of workers were robbed of their livelihoods and their pensions. The mines were plundered and stripped bare. And the blame fell to the directors, specifically President Zuma's nephew Kulubuse and former President Mandela's grandson Zondwa.
These directors must be prosecuted, and if they are not being punished, history will judge this country very terribly.
Then finally, this week, a victory.
Which leads to the conclusion, prima facie, that your clients intentionally feathered their own nest at the expense of other creditors and the workforce.
Judge Bertelsmann ordered that 15 million rands worth of suspicious payment made to Aurora's two consultants, Solly and Faisal Bana, the masterminds behind the devastating collapse, should be repaid. For the liquidator's attorney, John Walker, it was significant.
Well, it was an incredible victory for us, and we were elated, and I'll tell you why. Because in our papers, in every legal stratagem that we employed, we had found that the Barners and their family were the central controlling figures of Aurora. I even have a lot of sympathy for Mr. Zuma and Mr. Mandela, because they were, in my view, utilised by these people for their gains. But they are directors and they are also liable.
3 years ago, carte blanche was granted exclusive access to Aurora's liquidation inquiry where Solly and Faisal were unmasked.
Remember, it's 90,000, 55,000, 49,500, 36,000, 69,500, 50,000.
The Barners have always claimed these mysterious payments were to investors who loaned them money to keep the mines afloat. Even at the time, the commissioner was skeptical.
And the reason why I doubt it is because we're talking large amounts and there is simply no paperwork.
This week in court, 128 payments made to the Barners, their family members and friends, while mine workers went without salaries, were under scrutiny.
Certain people gave us money and they want the money certain days. If we don't meet those days, they liquidate us or they go for an urgent application. So what do? You try to keep everybody happy.
So will these people be your mother, your sister,
You must
and your other sister?
Even emerged during the inquiry that money that should have gone to pay for Aurora's workers was spent on solid ties and racehorses. When the liquidators finally took back control of the mine, this was the state of Aurora's record.
It's been an almost futile exercise in trying to determine what exactly happened. If I could criticize anybody, it would be the former directors and the Barners.